Hello, my name's Sophie Freeman and I'm a PhD student from the University of Melbourne. I'm presenting work done in collaboration with Martin Gibbs and Bjorn Nansen, and in our paper we explore the algorithm experience of users of commercial music streaming services and offer original, user-centered insights into the nuances of music listening, such as the notion of vibe. Offering vast catalogs of music, music streaming services such as Spotify or Apple Music provide a platform experience for listeners in which personalization, curation, and recommendation are foregrounded as crucial design elements. Users of these services are increasingly reliant on algorithmic personalization and recommendation features to navigate these platforms, as well as to help them to discover and curate music. And so these services are often, and more recently, characterized as lean-back experiences, whereby music is seamlessly personalized and tailored to individual listeners. These services have for many years been shaping listening behaviors and modes of music discovery, thus changing music interaction paradigms. And so we wish to build on and update this previous research with our paper. Using algorithmic experience, or AX, as a lens, we sought to explore the user experience of commercial music streaming services, paying particular attention to participants' reliance on and interaction with algorithmic recommendation and automated curation features. Alvarado and Van propose AX as an analytic tool for HCI to take a user-centered approach to algorithmic systems, and here we apply this to the music streaming context. The opacity of black box commercial environments, such as on music streaming sites, presents challenges to research. As such, our study employed a user-centric, qualitative method, as this allowed for a detailed, in-depth analysis into our participants' experiences. Drawing on 2 stages of qualitative research, we explored how participants use or rely on personalized, curated content and features, and unpack how different modes of interaction operate across a spectrum of algorithmically led and user-led behaviors. So we conducted interviews with 15 daily users of a music streaming service, and the interview question focused on interviewees' experiences of interacting with music recommender systems. Additionally, drawing from Robards and Lincoln's scrollback elicitation method, participants were invited to show and share their curated and personalized playlists on the streaming platform interface on their own devices. The interview and elicitation data were analyzed thematically using the 6 stages of reflexive thematic analysis proposed by Bjorn and Clark. So building off the findings from the first stage of research, we invited our participants to return to further explore the themes from stage 1 in a design workshop. So here's an overview of the workshop activities, and in particular drawing your attention to the 3 key design activities, such as the persona template, in which we approach the use of personas from a novel perspective, that of the imagined persona of the recommender system rather than the user. We aim to explore how users wanted to imagine and relate to their ideal music recommender system by asking them to describe a persona for it. Next was a card-based dialogue mapping. This was adapted from Werfsbrock et al., and in this activity, participants mapped out an interaction with their imagined recommender. And finally, in the wireframes activity, participants explored how this could come together on an interface. The workshop was video recorded and the audio transcribed. We conducted a thematic analysis of the transcribed discussion, as well as an analysis of the design artifacts. So please see our paper for the full method and the full results of discussion. But here we want to share with you some of the most striking insights. The notion of vibe was a consistent and novel theme that was generated from the 2 stages of research and mentioned by nearly all of the participants. Vibe was used as a verb, as in, I'm vibing with something, meaning that they were enjoying the suggested music. But it was also used to encapsulate participants' intention and musical or aesthetic choices for perhaps a playlist they were curating it, as in, I put in 3 songs to set up the vibe of the playlist. Vibe also could express the context of the listener or their mood. Vibe was useful for participants when articulating their reactions to suggested or recommended music that was close, but didn't quite fit with their intention or with their knowledge of music. For instance, when evaluating recommended content, Eric said that the offerings were from the same genre, but didn't have the same vibe. Likewise, this quote here from Roy, that the music was just missing the mark, like a B-grade version of what they wanted to hear. So though perceived as accurate in terms of similarity, these suggestions were experienced as impersonal because they weren't the right vibe. Notions of vibe also extended to social interactions, with many participants expressing that it was essential to vibe with someone or the recommender in order to trust their music recommendations. So the use of the term vibe was an elegant encapsulation of user preferences for music and interaction modes, as well as the language that our participants used to articulate their satisfaction with the recommended content. Vibe presents a more intimate way to approach research on music interaction, as it reveals insights into how users think about and experience music. We suggest that the notion of vibe is a salient aspect of the AX of music streaming services and can affect the potential success of a suggestion or recommendation. Though it's a vague term, vibe may account for some of the tensions between personalization and user control that we saw. Turning now to the design artifacts. All three design artifacts featured sliders or dials heavily. Across the groups, dials or sliders were designed for various parameters such as vibe or musical attributes. All designs featured some version of a sliding scale or dial to choose between a preference for obscure or familiar musical content. And diversity of content and of listening was particularly important to participants. They discussed the importance of not getting stuck in algorithmic feedback loops and addressed this in their designs through sliders or dials for adjusting for familiarity or diversity of content. The designs of the dials were in many ways an homage to earlier analog music technologies, such as turning physical dials on amplifiers. The desire for more user control in the music streaming context was expressed by our participants in two key ways. First, control over the music content itself, that is, musical attributes, styles, and so on. And next, the influence of the recommender, so the level of interaction or the interaction mode. In this way, users could choose their level of interaction between active, with lots of customization and control and feedback, or more passive and lean-back interactions. These preferences for user control were also dependent on the situated mood, context, activity, or vibe of the participants. Customization of the appearance and personality of the recommender, as well as an ability to change how often recommendations were offered, was a common element among the designs. Many included a persona of someone like them, saying that they needed to be similar in order to trust the recommender, and they wanted one that gave transparent feedback, explaining the recommendations being made to them. As such, we suggest that other salient aspects of the AX for music streaming are trust, transparent feedback, and diversity of content. Though user control over recommendation is not a new observation in recommender systems research, there are nuances to the music streaming context which are worthy of analysis, and some of these nuances are what we have aimed to contribute here. For users, personalization was a fluid and dynamic process depending on intention, listening mode, mood, context, and vibe. Understanding the importance of AX aspects such as trust, persona, vibe, and diversity as specific to the music streaming context presents opportunities for the design of recommender systems. Overall, participants desired for more participation in processes of personalization on music streaming services, even while in more lean-back modes of interaction, as they found the current state of recommendation and personalization to often be impersonal. The algorithmic curation and personalization features on music streaming services are certainly powerful tools for listening and discovery, though we argue that a focus on AX could empower users through incorporating more transparent feedback, explanation, user control, and customization over personalization in response to users' desire for music experiences, perhaps organized by vibe. And to finish up, we think that the notion of vibe in music listening is especially compelling. And though it raises more questions than it answers at this stage, we suggest that attending to the experience of vibe could present new and worthwhile challenges to designers of music streaming and recommender systems. Thank you very much.